Well, hey everybody. It's Monday, the 14th day of April, 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, let's go ahead and get started here and pull the rune from the Elder Futhark bag for the higher self side, the above side of the significators. Here we have Alyes, which is the 15th rune of the Elder Futhark. The keywords for this are elk or elk sedge. The elk sedge would be the grassy, marshy area that they tend to hide in. The elk will hide in as they're feeding. And in other words, their antlers aren't as quite as noticeable in the sedge areas or in the marshy areas. But basically, it looks to me like you're raising your hands in supplication to spirit or to the goddess. And essentially, you're talking about protection, the link between or bridge between physical and astral realms, drawing spirit down into physical reality. Also higher consciousness. It can also mean divinity. So like with last week, we basically had a lot of emphasis on drawing spirit into your awareness, or higher self into your awareness. Let's see if we're going to continue that trend right now, because sometimes that's all you can really do, you know, when things are a little crazy and you don't really know what's going on. We've got Puella here for the geomancy rune. Is just to focus on seeing things from a higher perspective, you know. Puella is half is the complement of Pur. Pur would be little boy energy. That would be Pur. Here we have Puella, and that's little girl energy. This is a lack of impulse control. This is scattered focus. Puella, though, is probably a little more positive than, say, Pur is. Puella would be about harmony, maybe superficiality, maybe kind of here, there, and everywhere. The focus is here, there, and everywhere. Can be very highly emotional or ambivalent about things. And of course, the answer to that is to draw awareness down from spirit to try to quell some of that. But it's not necessarily a negative. For the geomancy rune today. Sometimes it can be like if we draw Carcer or Rubius or something like that, or Cauda Draconis, it could be considered very negative. Misuse of power or things like that. Tristitia is another one where you get stuck in sadness to the point it's all you see things through is through that lens. But Puella is more, I've said this before, scattered little girl energy, like running through a meadow, a child running through the meadow, chasing after a butterfly. It's really more like that. I'm going to cut the deck and take the lower half and draw 3 cards. Here we have one from the Suit of Cups, one from Swords, and one from Wands. No Major Arcana cards, so like we had last week on Monday and on Thursday, to sort of emphasize the idea of accessing soul awareness when you're looking at your experiences and your surroundings, and what's going on, situations that are happening. This time we have the 4 of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the 2 of Wands. And I'm just going to start reading them as they are. We'll see if we need to move them around and tell a different story here. But again, you know, you want to stay positive in terms of the geomancy energy here. And if it's superficiality, it's not something that you're trying to manipulate with. It's just maybe you're ambivalent, or you don't really want to commit or whatever, and your focus is just too scattered to really do that, right? And so with Alyes, again, the answer is to draw your awareness from spirit so that you can do those things. But let's look at the numerology first, though. So Alyes, as I said, was the 15th rune. And we have a 4 here for the 4 of Cups. The Knight doesn't have one. No court cards have a number associated with them. And we have the 2 of Wands. So we have 21. So That would be a 3 numerology. So you're talking about optimism and communication and um, kind of relating to Puella, really, because the little girl energy can be very optimistic and very excited about this and that. It's just getting them to settle down and focus on when thing might be a little bit difficult. So again, not a negative energy. And the 3, you know, again, it can be optimism, it can be communication, it can be imagination, anything like that. And again, the Puella energy is very imaginative as well. But let's begin with the 4. Here we have the 4 of Cups. We see a man sitting in a defensive posture, his arms and legs crossed. There's an oak tree behind him, but there's a space between there. He's not leaning, he's sitting straight up and down. And so he's not sitting against that tree. So he's not drawing any oak strength into whatever's going on here for him. 4 is about structure, it's about foundation and grounding. But here, he seems to be unaware of the hand that's reaching out from the cloud, similar to the aces and the Rider-Waite. They all have that. But here you have this unexpected offering here from an unknown source, likely spirit, and he can't see it. He's too defensive. It's almost like he's in a pity party. You know, Cups is about our emotions, and so it's almost like he's too caught up in his own emotions and his own drama to be able to see what's being offered or to see what he already possesses, the emotional strength he already possesses. The Knight of Swords, on the other hand, you have a soldier here heading toward dealing with something that is happening or has been happening. If he was going the other way, like you see with the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, they're headed toward the future. This one's headed toward the past, just like the Knight of Wands is doing. And so you're looking at very active principle here. He's cutting through deception, essentially. You see the sketchy gray clouds above seem to be, he's cutting through them, we can say. He's moving very swiftly against the wind, against the elements, against the challenges that he's trying to deal, the wrongs he's trying to right. He's courageous, he has integrity, he accepts challenges. Very different energy than from the 4 of Cups. And so rather than sitting there, the fact that he's headed in the direction of this man, he's maybe trying to wake this guy up and say, hey, come on, let's get with the program here, and let's deal with the situation at hand, instead of sitting there pretending you don't know what to do. If you just sit there and get stuck in all of that, then maybe, yeah, that's where you're going to be. But this is not the time to do that. This is the time to take action, to get up off the ground, understand what strengths you have, and to move forward in a way that deals with whatever situation that is happening right now in your life. So it's something that's maybe been ongoing or began, say, a few days ago or whatever. So there's a sense of it's already ongoing with the Knight, and he's going back in to try to right whatever's going on, to understand what's going on, to cut through any deception that's going on, so that he can understand the truth of what's happening, so he can deal with it in the most effective way possible. And from there, we have the 2 of Wands. Here we have a man of means, a merchant, holding a globe in one hand and a staff in the globe is in his right hand, the staff is in his left. He's up on like maybe on top of the castle, or maybe on a walkway or a bridge of some kind, to where he can see down into the valley, and he sees out here into the bay. The mountains are in the background there, and it's almost with his staff in his left hand, he's created a doorway into new experiences. Now, 2 can be about balance, it can be about reason, love, healing, reciprocity, but it's also about decisions. And here he's having to make a decision, what door to walk through, essentially. But it's not an existing doorway that was made by someone else. He's made the doorway himself. Here, by putting his staff on top of the little half wall there. You see the grapes and the lilies right here, making a sort of a coat of arms, maybe of some kind, or something that's dealing with abundance and also new beginnings, with both the lily and the grapes. The grapes would be abundance, and the lilies would be new beginnings. So he's looking for something that's going to give him abundance, the decision he needs to make about his future, and about where his business is essentially going. And you still see, like you see with all of the wands, the staffs and the suit of wands, you see life still growing from the staffs, even though they're cut from the ground. And so there's with the fire element, you see that there's a lot of active principle there with the fire element, with wands. With swords, it's the air element, and with cups again, it's the water element. And so you've got emotions, you've got reason and intellect, and you've got the decision that whatever he dealt with here, to right whatever wrong, to reveal whatever deception is there, to reveal the truth of things so that a decision can be made. Now he's ready to do that. So whatever is going on here, where you've got, let's see, it'll be this way, where you've got something that you're upset about here in the Four of Cups, you're gonna have to take action to deal with it. Cups is a very passive influence, just like Earth is, and so you tend to get stuck in the emotion of it, right? But that's not what's needed. You need to see what the truth is and make a decision about it and act. And so you've got, with both the Knight of Swords and the Two of Wands, they're going to reinforce that whole thing, with the active principle of both air and fire. So again, drawing down a higher awareness from spirit, not losing focus with and getting all superficial about things, with Puella, and not getting stuck in your own emotions so you can't do anything. You just get all stuck in defensive mode, and you can't act to deal with the situation. Instead, with the Knight, it's saying you need to do that. You need to figure out what the truth is. You need to figure out where the lies are. You need to figure out what it is you need to do and make some decision in a reasonable manner so that you can then take hold of your future and make a decision about that, where you can resolve whatever's happening here in the Four, and by taking the action you need to take with the Knight of Swords, and then from there you can make some better decisions about your future. Lots of strange things happening in the world right now. People not understanding the truth of different things that are happening, such as what tariffs actually are and who pays them. Not the country that it's on, but in fact the consumer ultimately pays it. And because they got to reimburse, the importer or whoever else is in the supply chain there has to be reimbursed for the additional costs that they're having to pay out because of the tariffs on a particular country and particular things that we buy from them. And so, again, it could be influencing what's going to happen here in the future for you, especially if you're a business owner. You're seeing lots of people coming on social media right now talking about how their businesses are they may have to shut them down because they have stuff coming in from another country and there's a tariff on it that they can't pay. They just can't pay it. The order that they put in for the year, some businesses do that, but maybe they do it twice a year. But right now, whatever orders they've put in, it's going to cost them way more than what they ever anticipated. They may not have the money. And so you have to deal with whatever. So if it's something like that in your business life, then you have to deal with, the emotions that you're feeling and not getting stuck there so that you stop acting. Take the action you need to understand the situation in its totality to find out what options there are for you. And then after all that's done, it can clear the way to either make a different decision about your future or to reaffirm it. Either way, with the Two of Wands. So I guess that's it here for a Monday. I don't think we need a fourth card. but we'll see. We'll see with Thursday's reading. I'm doing these on Sunday. I told you guys this last week that I need to do them because my husband's having surgery this next week, and I have to be available the whole week for that. And getting some more things finished up here at the place at our home, and because I'll be handling everything for a month, all the irrigation, all the garden, all the lawn mowing, all the pasture stuff, all of that. I'll be dealing with all that. And while he recuperates and heals and is then able to do that himself, some of that stuff himself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll close out here. Do check out the blog at Stepping Aside. The web address is imsteppingaside.com. And look for the forecast and the correspondences for Work and Magic, plus the write-ups, just the reading notes for these readings I do each week is also there. But in any event, I'm going to go ahead and do Thursdays here after I close and watch this and make sure I'm happy with it. And then I'll get Thursdays done, and then I'll be ready to go for next week. And I'll just schedule these for Monday and for Thursday then. Normally I don't do it that way. I do them on Mondays and Thursdays, but this next week is going to be, lots of unknowns. And so anyway, thanks for watching, and come back again for Thursday's reading. Hear it here and have a good weekend, or not a good weekend, but a good week. I'm confused now that I'm not doing this on Mondays and Thursdays here this week. But anyway, have a good day. We'll say that, and come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.